Welcome to Excel cast number 8, Management Account Templates Part 5. We're now at the business end of our management account templates and we're going to make this template work dynamically for us. Depending on the accounts package you have, we can connect Excel to a variety of different sources. We can connect it to Oracle, we can connect it to SAP, we can connect it to the SQL Server. You may have Sage accounts, you may have some other software system. The key thing is figuring out how to connect to the underlying data tables. For our example here, we're going to connect to an Oracle database, and I'll show you quickly how you would do that. You would click on the Alt and A for data to bring up the data, and then FO for other sources, and you bring in your Oracle database connection through your ODBC Microsoft query. Okay, so you can see we would now select on Oracle and click OK. Now I've already this done, so I'm not going to redo it. What we can do is, as the information updates on our ERP system or our accounts package, all we need to do is, once we've the table connection made, is just click refresh all and we have the latest information. Okay, from Oracle I bring in two Oracle tables. First is the nominal list, and that's a list of all my nominal accounts, my nominal ledger listing. The second is the nominal ledger totals. So we'll have quickly look at the nominal ledger listings here. So we have three main headings we're concerned about. First is account code, second is the account short name, and the third is the account name. In the ledger totals we have four tables we're concerned about. First is the account code, and that is the same account code as coming from the nominal list table. We also have the year, the financial year, and we have the period, and we have the amounts. Now you can see the amounts are minuses and pluses. The minuses represent credits and the pluses represent debits. Okay, so let's have a look. You can see from the table here we have 1800 rows or thereabouts, bringing in information for 3 financial years. Okay, so what we need to do now is build our formula in a dynamic fashion. So first and foremost, I'm going to get rid of the information I have in these additional 2 income rows because I don't want them to begin with, and I'll show you how we can copy and paste very quickly later. We want to bring in our nominal account name. As the table is updated, new nominal account names might be added, so we want to make it dynamic. So if we look at, we'll make it dynamic by using the nominal account code, manually typing it into our spreadsheet. So if we look at our income, and we will look at, say, trading income, if we can find it here, so we can see it's TRD/INC. So we'll type in here TRD/INC for trading income. Okay, we want to bring this in, and the best way to bring this in is using a vlookup. So we'll go equals vlookup, and the tab when it brings up, the lookup value is A13, and we want to lock cell row A, although I think we're probably okay without locking this one. Lock it to the column anyhow. So the VLOOKUP is A13. The table array is going to be our nominal list. So let's table array, and we'll highlight the full table. So nominal list table all, and where column, and the next one, so that's our table array. Next then is our column index. So the column index 1, 2, 3. Column index is 3, and it's an exact match, false. Okay, so now you can see it's brought in the heading for trading income, or if we change the code here, you'd see if we change to investment income. That's all bringing in uppercase. So to make it look more normal, we will wrap it in the proper formula, PROPER. So the text is the formula itself, is the VLOOKUP formula, and close brackets. So by wrapping it in the proper formula, we get it from all uppercase to uppercase T and lowercase for the rest, and same with the I. Okay, so that's our headings, or our different sales headings. Now what we want to think about is our accounts information and how we pull in the accounts information. So first and foremost, we will look at what is our total for trading income. So we'll have a quick look here. So we'll look at what is our total for trading income. So TRD/INC, Trading income 2.5, and that's the total for the what's on the spreadsheet here. What's this for 2013? It's 1.13, and for the period, which would be period 1, it is 109. So we're looking for a figure of 109. So Control Shift L to bring back our filters. Okay, so again, remember from an earlier video, sumfis. Sumfis allows us to bring in figures based on multiple criteria. So we'll yet again use our sumfis formula. Sumfis. So sum range. What is the sum range? Sum range is going to be our ledger totals and our amount and all of the amount. So that's our sum range. So the criteria range 1. So the criteria range 1 is going to be our account codes. So we'll go back up to the top of that list. Control Shift down to bring us down to the end of it. And our criteria 1 is going to be our nominal list, our management accounts, and cell. We'll get rid of the page, the tab sheet, sheet reference, cell A13. And we will be copying this to the right, so we do want to lock in cell A, so F4. So to lock in cell A, we'll be copying it down, so we don't want to lock the row number. Okay, so let's close that off and see where we are at the moment. Okay, we've got a minus 2567, and as we were saying earlier, the minus represents a credit, so we'll just put in a minus in our formula to bring that to a plus figure. So we have now a figure of 2.5, which, if you remember from earlier in the video, that was our total on our spreadsheet for trading income. So now we need to add more criteria, and you can see I built in I added in two more bits of information into the spreadsheet here. I put in a year, 2013, and I named the cell FY by just typing in FY in the box up here. Now you can also add in a cell name by going into define your names through name manager. So you can see financial year values 2013, and there's what it refers to. Okay, so we are going to now add in the criteria for the financial year. So the financial year, so the criteria range 2. So we want to add in the criteria range. So before we were clicking on the sheet name, ledger totals, and you can see it, ledger totals and account code. So let's do it again. The reason why it's bringing ledger totals is because that's the table name in that sheet. So let's type in ledger. So you can see it's bringing in a table. We can press the tab to bring up that, and look from here, square brackets. So we bring in square brackets, and it is, what are we looking for? We're doing for financial year, so we're doing for a year, and close your brackets. Okay, and our criteria 2 is equal to this cell here, and you'll see because the cell is named, it's brought in financial year. So we'll close that off and see how we're going. Okay, now we're down to 1.1 million, and from memory you will remember that's when we filtered for the financial year, that was what we got as well. So then we want to add in another criteria now, which is for our month. So our periods were from 1 to 12, and you can see from before, remember we put in a period 1 here, and custom defined font to type it to automatically show a month in front of it, but 1 is all that's in the cell. So we'll add in that now as another criteria. So criteria range 3 is going to be ledger totals and square brackets and period, and square brackets, and it's going to be cell H7. And as we copy this to the right and copy down, we always want it to be locked. Copying it to the right, we want to keep it locked on just the 7 on the row number. So F4, and close brackets. So there we go. We have 109,000, which we got earlier in our ledger totals here. Okay. So we'll put in for a budget. Some of our systems can do budgeting through the systems. I like to keep my budgeting in Excel because I just find it more flexible. So prior year. So we want to bring in a prior year figure. Well, very simple. Copy this cell here. It won't work initially, but we'll have to make 1 or 2 adjustments to it. So first adjustment to it is the cell reference here is move 3 cells. Now the one here is centered across the 3 cells. So what we'll simply do here is drag it back into cell H7 and press enter. Now you can see we're getting the same figure as this here. So we have to go back to our financial year. So you can remember here this formula is connected to financial year 2013. So we'll go financial year -1. So now this goes from 2013 to 2012. And you can see we have 114,000. So let's have a look to see is that correct. So ledger totals. So our trading income, TRD/INC, okay, 2.5. Year now is going to be 2012. And 1430. And what were we looking for? We're in period 1. And okay, so 114070. 114070. So there you go, folks. That's it. What we'll do, we'll copy it across a couple of cells here. So I'm going to put a freeze. I'm going to freeze the window at WF. At WF, I already have it frozen. Okay, so I'm going to freeze the window here. So we'll copy these 3 cells here. Control C, Control V, Control V. Let's look at Control V. Okay, so we've copied them a couple of cells over. So you can see, you know, our figures are increasing there. 333 versus 345. Remember, for our totals here, we could include or exclude. You can see it's dropping back. Include it again. Okay, so you want to add in more headings. Control C, highlight the whole row, copy down. There you have it. You have a new row with everything in it. So this one will say is investment income, INV/INC. And there you have your investment income. So let's do the same thing again. Copy the whole row, copy down, and other income. And we obviously don't have other income. Okay, there's another heading for fees receivable. So there you see how dynamic it can be. You know, you can copy that down again. We can copy that down to our expenses, but remember we've put in a minus, so we will have to change that. So if we copy that down into the first heading of our expenses, and we'll look at what would we have for telephone here. Control find TEL, post telephone, post/tele, and there you go. Now we are getting minus figures there. That is because we had to put in a minus in here up in the credits above. So the simple thing all to do is we will just change that, get rid of the minus there and that, get rid of the minus on this one, and then we need to copy this formula back across the way as well for all the different months. And then basically we have 2 formulas in the spreadsheet we work for, one for credits and one for debits. I suppose we could actually look at building that to be more dynamic too. Okay, so that's it for this video. I hope that was useful to you. We'll show you another spreadsheet that I also have here, and you can see there's a lot of errors coming into this. This is based on, you have a code on the side here, and it's bringing in figures, and you can see the formula here. This is SG for Sage, account nominal ledger name, and the cell reference is A16, and the same thing over along here, Sage account nominal ledger actual, the cell reference A16, financial year month, and if we go to different months, we can go Sage account nominal ledger A16, financial year is your year up here, and the K9 represents 1 for your month. And that's, so you can see that's coming in from Sage accounts. Sage created an Excel add-in a number of years ago, which was very, very useful. And again, you could, depending on your system, I've had to do it at times where I've had to use macros. And in the macros I had from the system, I was able to get a text export of the trial balance, exported into a text file, and then I was able to create a macro in Excel which imported the text file into Excel, formatted it, and then all the formulas were able to automatically work from the imported text file. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Again, if you'd like to give me suggestions for future videos, please feel free to do so. If you'd like for me to do some more on this management accounts template, let me know and I will. Thank you very much, and see you next time.